Hi, it's Robin True, and we're here today to talk about the preparation of the CMC lever escape system. So we know that a successful bailout starts with the proper preparation of the lever escape system in advance of a call for use. Attention to detail is critical. We know that the life of a firefighter may depend on it if they are required to bail out of the building. So let's look at some of the components that are required for successfully preparing the escape system for use. Start with the parts of the CMC lever escape system. We have the connection carabiner, which is connected to the Class 2 harness of the firefighter. That should be done on the way to the call so that you don't have to think about that inside the building. Second is the descent control device, which is basically the main part of the system that allows us to jump out of a window and be able to descend down to the ground in a controlled fashion. We have the heat and cut resistant rope or webbing. In our case, we have webbing, and note it's 50 feet or 15.2 meters of webbing. Then we have the carrying pouch, which is attached to the SCBA waist harness, and we have the anchor hook. Start with packing the webbing into the pouch. So we should start with the tail end of the webbing and loop it back and forth in your hand until your hand is full of webbing, and then you stuff the webbing into your pouch, making certain that the tail end of the webbing is at the bottom of the pouch. Then you repeat until all the webbing is neatly packed into the pouch. It's imperative to properly load the webbing to ensure that no knots form when the web system is deployed in an emergency. Second thing we'll do is secure the hook into the pouch. So note here in the picture that the working end of the hook is to point towards the Class 2 harness. In this picture as well, the hook is secured on both ends by the Velcro, and that's not the way that we want to do it. This would provide too much resistance to the firefighter who is deploying the system in an emergency. So the hook should only be secured on the end that connects to the webbing, which we see on the right hand side of the picture. Next, we'll secure the descent control device. So it's to be secured by Velcro to the pouch. This was a modification we made to the pouch recently. If this is not done, there is a risk of the descender and then the webbing coming out of the pouch while the firefighter is working. This, of course, could create a risk in terms of tripping hazard or an entrapment hazard for the firefighter if the descent control device and the webbing come out of the pouch. So it's important to secure it with Velcro. So the final product prior to closing the flap, this is what we should look for, is that the hook is secured on one end. The descent control device is secured by Velcro as well. And third, the webbing appears organized and is feeding off the top of the pouch. Then we're going to secure the cover flap. So we want to make sure it's pulled tight when we go to close it. This helps to ensure that the hook and the descent control device do not accidentally come out of position when the firefighter is working. So the first line of defense is the Velcro that holds those components in place. But the second thing we do is make sure that this cover flap is pulled as tightly as we can get it to also hold those components in place. Once the system is packed, then we can place the CMC lever escape system on the right side of the firefighter's waist strap, as we see pictured here. And with regards to securing the system to the waist belt itself, make sure it is secured to the MSA G1 waist strap by running the two Velcro straps through the closed loops of the waist strap, as we see pictured. Last point is routine inspection. Each CMC lever escape system shall be inspected at a minimum once a week during the weekly truck checks, and any SCBA that is used on a call that has an escape system shall receive an inspection as the SCBA is placed back into service on the apparatus. So that will be done by the firefighter who has used the SCBA. So thank you for your attention today. If you have any questions, get in touch with me during office hours, or you can send me an email.